welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your wonderful girl Jojo, and today I'm here with an amazing coffee farmer, a very educated person in the field of farming and coffee in particular. So he's called
Owen Singura.
This is Owen, yeah. So guys, I'm at Naro. It's in Mukono, one of the places right here in Uganda. So Owen is so amazing. He's so well informed about coffee and agriculture in general, right? Yeah, so I just wanted to ask Owen a few questions regarding coffee growth in Uganda. So Owen, what is the history of coffee growth in Uganda especially? Because there is someone like me and you out there who has never seen a coffee plantation. Me, as big as I am, I've seen, my first time to see a coffee plantation was 2 years ago, and I'm amazed. I'm sure there's so many of you out there who have never seen a coffee plantation, and you cannot even imagine that coffee grows in Uganda, because all we have in our heads is Ghana, Nigeria, and those West African countries. But coffee is actually right here with us in Uganda. So Owen is going to give us a brief history of coffee growth in Uganda.
Oh, thank you so much. You'll stop me because when I'm talking about coffee, I get so passionate.
Much to say.
But commercial coffee growing in Uganda started with the coming of the colonialists, the ones who made coffee commercial. And actually, in coffee, there's a coffee we call chiboko. It's dried coffee beans. Why we call it chiboko is because the colonialists wanted Africans or Ugandans to be growing coffee, and sometimes it was mandatory. If you don't have coffee, then we'll beat you. So that's why it was called chiboko. But actually, coffee, as Robusta coffee, the center of origin is in Uganda. So it looks like it's an introduced crop, but actually when you trace back, there is evidence that coffee, Robusta coffee, the center of origin is in Uganda. We still have old relatives of coffee in our forests in Uganda.
How many type of coffees do we have here in Uganda?
Okay, so in Uganda we have two major coffee species.
Okay.
We have Robusta and Arabica. Robusta this is what you're looking at on his head, on her head.
In my head.
This is Robusta coffee. It's robust, the way it sounds. The leaves are big, they are broad. Unfortunately, we had a very bad hailstorm last week. This is why they look broken, but they are really broad leaves. That's why it's Robusta coffee. Then the other one is Arabica coffee.
Okay, I think that's the one that sounds familiar to
Arabica is much more famous in Uganda. Robusta means a big deal to us. We produce a lot of it, and we are the second producer of coffee in Africa.
Okay.
But we have other coffee species that are less talked about, like Liberica, which we also have in Uganda here.
Okay. So Owen, how do we choose a best variety as a coffee farmer, for someone, a young person, anybody who wants to venture in agriculture and you would like to settle in coffee? How do you know which variety of coffee is actually good for you?
Good, that's a good question. So from species, we go to varieties. Yeah. Within species, there are usually several varieties. Now in Robusta in Uganda, the best varieties, I will tell you, they should be the coffee wilt resistant varieties, the KR varieties. These are made by Naro, and they are 100% resistant to coffee wilt disease. This is what I would recommend someone to grow in Uganda. For Arabica, there are varieties that are known to be good at yielding. But in Uganda, most farmers grow Nyasalans, there's SL series, and the other less talked about varieties categories. So species, major are two, world over. Varieties, there are many in hundreds of varieties.
And also it's good manners as a coffee, as somebody who wants to venture in coffee growth, to first consult. Don't just because you have the land, you have the facility, you have the money to do whatever, just running and getting seeds. Consult. It's always good to know which variety fits better for what kind of land in which country, depending on the weather and all that, right?
Exactly. And speaking about consulting, Naro is a public institute. You can always walk in, you can always come and learn for free. You just have to make an appointment.
Can you imagine? Did you hear the statement for free? In Uganda,
there
are rare things for free. You have heard the word free, please. Carry yourself. You just need a few shillings to get a taxi or whatever. Come to Mukono at Naro and consult, so that you can yield enough from your agricultural business. Okay, Owen. So what are the challenges as far as coffee plantation is is concerned?
In Uganda, as far as coffee plantation is concerned, it used to be a challenge, but now I would say it's not a big challenge anymore. That was a coffee wilt disease that hit us in the late 90s. But now these varieties you see here from Narrow, they are totally resistant coffee wilt disease, and they are high yielding and they have a very good cup quality. So it's not a challenge anymore. So, but for farmers who are not growing the coffee wilt resistant varieties from Narrow, they still have a challenge of coffee wilt disease. In Arabica, the major challenge, major disease is coffee leaf rust, but that also can be managed by cultural methods, but also spraying with some fungicides if you must.
Okay.
On pests in Robusta, we have still a challenge of black coffee twig borer. So it's a very small beetle these are called twigs, by the way. So these are called twigs. That small beetle enters through here, it eats and lays in its legs. We don't have it here, but for other farmers, Robusta farmers, it's a very big challenge. It still has ways of managing it through integrated pest management. But as far as varieties are concerned, we are good, thanks to Narrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage sustainability in coffee agriculture?
So thank you so much. As coffee, we are farmers, we are business people. Our business is in here, you see.
Yeah.
How you tell that a coffee farmer is in business, I call it the vertical, the horizontal and vertical. So vertical, your twig has to be really long. A long twig, that means there's more room for coffee berries or fruits to get stuck on. There's also more room for flowering, of course. That is the horizontal. You see, when you look at this twig, it's almost like my two hands.
Yeah.
And then vertical, the bearing head. The bearing head is a distance from the first twig that is bearing fruits to the last one. When you look at this bearing head, it's almost 2 meters. I can tell that this coffee farmer is in business, and this is what we want. And some farmers have even much better than this, but this is very good. So this is how you tell that a farmer is in business. These are the two indicators.
So what
the length
role
of the
do you
twigs
think...
and the height of the bearing head.
Okay. So what role do you think coffee plays in the local community?
Coffee in Uganda, for those who may not know, culturally, coffee means a lot to us. That even when you're going to ask for a wife in some cultures, you carry coffee in a banana fiber or in a small pot. Without that, you won't get the wife. Yes.
Coffee is powerful.
So another
we are
thing,
standing with someone's wife.
you need to carry some in some culture, some tribe. Another thing, coffee in here, especially in Uganda, they say okute omukago. Okute omukago is making a friendship, a long bond, a lifelong friendship, what you call okuto mukago. You use it with coffee.
Okay.
There's a process, you do a small cut, and then get coffee beans, put here, and then the other one does like that, and then you exchange beans.
That's blood packed kind of.
Yeah, the blood packed. In Uganda, some tribes, you do it with coffee. But apart from that, coffee earns a lot of... we earn a lot from coffee as a country, as a government. We export most of our coffee. We drink a little of the coffee. So it's a cash cow for the government.
Okay. So how do you balance quality and quantity as a coffee grower? Quality. Now both of them are important. You need the quantity to make like better sales, but that's not all about it. You need your products to also have quantities.
That's a very, very good question because for us as researchers, we are at an intersection between the farmers and the consumers. The consumer is the boss. The consumer needs good quality coffee. As a farmer, I need a bearing head like this. I also need a twig that is like this, long. I need more money in the pocket. But as Narrow, we make sure that when we are developing varieties, the breeders, they develop varieties that are high yielding, but also of good cup quality, so that everyone is happy somehow. So that's how we do balance. But then also on the farmer side, we also want varieties that are not that don't succumb to diseases and pests, and also withstand harsh weather conditions with the climate change that we are having right now. So
Talking
quality
about climate change actually, like how does it affect coffee growth? Is there a particular kind of weather that coffee needs to come out good?
Now that's even a more interesting question because because you see, Robusta coffee grows on the lowland. Arabica coffee grows on the highland. It can withstand cooler climates, which can mostly be found on the highlands in Uganda. This is why places that grow Arabica coffee in Uganda, in southwest, in Kigezi, we have Kapsorwa, we have West Nile. Robusta coffee here. Now, with climate change, as the earth is becoming warmer, it's creating more room for Robusta coffee because it can withstand a little bit higher temperatures. So that's how one of the ways climate change is affecting coffee. And then also with increased drought, that means there's less water. So we need varieties that can withstand water stress.
Okay. So how long does a coffee plantation take to give us the results? Of course, the end results for all of us as farmers is always the money. So
Money.
how long do I have to wait to get my money out of this?
So if you planted today, I usually tell people the best time to plant coffee was 3 years ago. The next best time is now because you see it's raining.
Yeah.
She was complaining. Please subscribe. It's
Because
raining.
We've been under the rain to create for you.
To us,
this.
it means planting. So the best time to plant coffee is today. And from today, you'll count 3 years, you will already be harvesting money. The coffee will have matured, it will already be fruiting, and you'll be harvesting money. Okay. But sometimes even 2.5 years, you're harvesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, the time seems to be long, but when it comes out like this and the 2 years have finally elapsed and then it's time for getting the money.
Let me tell you, 3 years is not long because COVID was 2020. It still feels like last year.
So in those 2.5 and 3 years is the first harvest, because I hear you have to you can harvest more and more.
In Uganda, we are blessed to have 2 seasons.
Okay.
It's a double blessing. Yeah.
For that same plantation there.
Yeah, same plantation. In Uganda, we have 2 seasons. And you see, during COVID, during the lockdown, some people left the city and locked themselves in the village, planted coffee. Now they are the people who are happier because coffee prices are all-time high. So 3 years is not a long time, honestly.
That is true. Yeah. Okay. So what is a typical day routine for like a coffee farmer? Do you have to do something in the farm like on a daily basis, or it's also seasonal, like with the when the weeding season is done, you now have to relax and just check on the garden? Or do you have a typical day routine? Like,
as a farmer, the garden is my office. I wake up every day, come to do scouting. First thing is scouting for pests and diseases, especially black coffee twig borer for Robusta here. And then the next is, you see this garden needs weeding. We plan when to weed, look for labor, and do it over and over again. When it comes to harvesting season, harvest and look for labor. Then after that, when the coffee is out of the garden, drying, every day you have to be there. These days we have thieves. They come and harvest coffee on your behalf. So some farmers, we are sleeping in the garden. This is a real story in Uganda. We sleep in the garden because there are some opportunities that are coming to harvest on our behalf. Yeah. So
okay, as we all know, agriculture and everything around us keeps innovating each and every day. Like things keep changing, technology and all that. So how do you keep up with the trend, the new trends that keep coming up as a coffee farmer?
As a coffee farmer, there's a new trend. Now we are going to specialty and fine coffees. I'm lucky to be informed. I know what it takes to produce specialty coffee, and I need to tap into that market because specialty coffee, there are higher prices. But also the consumers out there who are in the Western world, our bosses who consume our coffee, they want a story. They want to know where this coffee came from. That's why we are emphasizing on traceability and single origin sourcing. And this is what I encourage the young farmers who are joining coffee. They just don't go into, in Uganda we call it kavuyo, where everyone is doing whatever they are doing. Go into where there's a niche market, which is right now specialty coffee. This is the trend we are following. On the side of research, narrow, we are going into developing varieties that are resistant to climate change effects like drought, and also that can survive on minimal nutrients.
Okay.
Because our soil is changing. You see, this garden you see here has been under cultivation for over 40 years. So it's not as fertile as it used to be, so it needs to be. The researcher has to keep in mind, develop varieties that will do well even in low nutrient conditions. But as a farmer, what I want is more money, and right now the more money is in specialty and fine coffees.
Interesting. Guys, we have talked a lot, and there is already a video that explains the process of coffee growing that was done by this same well-informed man, Owen. So don't miss it out. Go through the channel, check it up. It's already there on my channel. Do not forget to go and watch it. You need to learn. You can't just do things blah like that, and yet there is information flying all over like this for free. Can you imagine? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and stay there, because more is coming from Owen. Anyway, last but not least, Owen, what kind of advice would you give to someone out there that would want to venture into coffee farming? What advice would you give them? Is it a good thing to do? Should they come join the industry, or please stay there? There's too much stress here.
There is a lot of space in the coffee industry for everyone. If you look at it from the value chain perspective, there's space on nursery operators. We need more nursery operators. There's space in growing, because the mouth to drink coffee are increasing every day. People are producing, people want more coffee. But then also there is space, there is knowledge to come and learn. From Narrow, just walking through that gate, come and ask me, what can I do? I want to grow coffee here. What can I do? How can I do it? It is free knowledge. Actually, it's not free, because this is a government institute. You pay taxes so that we can give you these services. All you need is to come here, make an appointment, and just like they did.
Guys, can you imagine? Let me just emphasize on that. You're here in Kampala. Mukono is not far from the city center. Come to Mukono and learn something for yourself, because this is free. It's not everywhere in Uganda that you find, information just lying around looking for you. Owen is even saying, please don't become a coffee farmer before consultation. You need it. Come to Owen with all your problems. He's there to reduce on the weight for you. Okay, I'm going to drop his number right there, exactly now. So please contact Owen and learn more about coffee farming from Owen. And again, how has coffee as a commodity impacted Uganda as a country?
Coffee supports now directly and indirectly over 5 million people in Uganda. It could be more, because we are waiting for the results from the census. And as a country, we earn a lot because we export most of it, but also it has a cultural perspective. It also employs people. It gives us a livelihood, and we want it to be enhanced. We want farmers to get more and more money from what they are doing from a small space, because land is not increasing. We want farmers to get more from small space they are utilizing.
Interesting. Okay guys, I just prepared a few questions to ask Owen. I'm always thinking about you, because I know there are confused people out there like you and me that do not know a lot as far as coffee farming is concerned. That's why I had to prepare a few questions so that we ask our expert and we learn and we get knowledgeable just like him. So guys, stay tuned to the channel, turn on your post notification bell, because more and more is coming. For me, this is going to be my hub. I love agriculture. I'm a farmer myself. It's just that I'm not venturing in coffee, but now with the amazing knowledge that I've gotten from Owen, I may reconsider becoming a coffee farmer as well. So guys, stay tuned to the channel. Do not forget to come to Narrow, Mukono, and meet Owen to learn more and more and more. Otherwise, thank you so much, Owen, for educating us all here today for free. I emphasize on that. Owen, amen. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, also for watching. Stay alert for the next video. Otherwise, till next time again, I'm still your girl Jojo. Bye bye.
And we have